The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is mandated to ensure gender equality through mainstreaming gender consideration, promote the welfare and protection of the rights of children, and empower the vulnerable. In 2013, the ministry initiated a process to undertake a restructuring exercise to meet its current institutional setup and challenges to enable it to deliver on its mandate. This was because the expanded mandate of the ministry required the development and implementation of a well-structured institutional setup. The ministry exercises its mandate through its departments: Department of Gender, Department of Children, Department of Social Development, Domestic Violence Secretariat, Human Trafficking Secretariat, and the National Council on Persons with Disability. Under the Gender Department, the ministry in April 2015 launched a celebration of 40 years of women's national machinery with a maiden gender dialogue on the theme Ghana's Women's Machinery, Achievement, Challenges and Prospects.
This was followed with a second dialogue session on 12th August on the theme Promoting Gender Equality and Non-Discrimination in Ghana Through Affirmative Action.
Where you have equality 50-50, then you can work towards achieving affirmative action, no matter how piecemeal it may seem.
Let's hasten slowly. Let's do it as stipulated or as provided for in the affirmative action legislation.
We are talking about equality, and that is why in my presentation I began with the international instruments. There, the standard is equality.
The Affirmative Action Bill is to increase representation and participation of women in decision-making in all sectors of governance structures and processes. The process has spanned 2 decades and more, with the drafting of an affirmative action policy. In order to finally pass the bill into law, the National Technical Committee in charge of the bill has held the final validation meeting to appreciate the bill.
The purpose of this bill is a temporary measure to correct a gender imbalance in Ghana and to promote and ensure the full and active participation of women in public life by providing a more equitable system of representation in electoral politics and also generally in governance, in accordance with our international commitments and also our constitutional and national development aspirations.
The members of the ministry, how patient and tolerant they have been of everything, especially when they met as MPs. We ourselves, excuse me to say, we have a cool down attitude of ourselves. And we saw it when the MPP came up and wanted to start the affirmative action something. If you looked at the women who came out, the people who came out, and they were bashing and talking against MPP taking that stand, it was mostly women. It was mostly women. You look at it and you can see that it was mostly women. Why that?
The ministry also held national dialogue on improving justice system for victims of sexual and gender-based violence. The objective was to improve conviction rate for sexual and gender-based violence.
To represent her at this function on the theme Improving Prosecution and Adjudication of Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Cases in Ghana.
On children, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Kwesi Amissah-Arthur, launched the Child and Family Welfare Policy on 14 July this year, formulated by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. The policy is a landmark document that will address and prevent harm to children. This year's celebration of the Day of the African Child was held nationwide. It focused on ending early child marriage. On social development, the restructuring of the ministry, the name of the Department of Social Welfare has been changed to the Department of Social Development. Following the June 3rd flood and fire disaster, the ministry set up an emergency leap intervention program for the victims, and an amount of 3.9 million Ghana cedis has been devoted to support 13,000 households affected by the disaster.
When the June 3 disaster occurred, the government of Ghana, the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, came here to Odona, and we made the announcement that we will provide emergency leap. That is, we are giving 100 Ghana to approximately 9,000 households in Volta region, in Ashanti region, Western, Central, and Greater Accra. All of you here who are representing households, you'll be receiving 100 Ghana. This is being done electronically, and this is the first time, I dare say, in Africa, that emergency cash transfer for this disaster is being done electronically.
The ministry, in partnership with Direct Aid Africa, has also donated relief items to victims of the flood in Keta, Usu, and Kumasi.
Government, Direct Aid, Honorable Member of Parliament, Niamashite, Eba Hawa application, Egbe Babao, Wabawa, Nibeke I'm a school bus, I'm a textbook, so large, Wabari place, Nyawadon.
The National Targeting Unit has been established within the Social Protection Directorate to facilitate the selection of poorest beneficiary families for social protection interventions in Ghana.
By the government to eradicate poverty over the years, several programs were put in place. Some of these programs are run by departments, by ministries, by agencies of the country. A lot of these programs do their singular targeting for the purposes of the programs that have been put in place. So to improve efficiency and the effectiveness of some of these programs that have been put in place, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection established the Ghana National Household Registry to collate data and information on households across the country, which data would be used to serve some of these social protection programs that have been put in place by government. The idea is to ensure that all these programs are not looking left and right to identify, to target, and to categorize the beneficiaries, but they can pull into the resource, the database that exists already in this center, and be able to be more efficient in rolling out the programs that enhance the social status of the people that are targeted.
Now, if National Health Insurance wants to provide free registration for poor people, for instance in Tamale, they will come to the Social Protection National Targeting Unit, and we will be able to give them a list of poor people in Tamale who should receive social protection support.
The ministry has launched the Urban Elderly Welfare Card, a priority identity card which will enable the elderly to enjoy preferential treatment in the use of some social services. The card will allow the aged 65 years and above to board the Metro Mass Transit bus at a 50% reduced fare.
Urban in translation means a fence, a wall. And to further explain, it means love.
So this is the urban card for the elderly. Thank you. The card is 1,000. It's here starting with Aguna East District. It's a year was 600. Saka no mu the Befu Metro Bus. I won't bet you half on the Beko Hospital. They will not queue or saline. Bank or saline. Hospital or saline. Yeah, wait for elderly. Conform with 65 years and above. And I card sunko. I say senior citizens card. It's you start issuing the cards from Central Region. Yeah, because 5 districts in Central Region and 5 districts in Western Region for the start.
The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyelitha, has monitored the registration of 500 elderly persons onto the National Health Insurance Scheme in the Akwapim North Municipality.
Minister, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama Ede Bremo. And then yebedi ejuma sunkun ewa ha. Wo Eastern Region nyina no eha ekopon any first municipality ayeba abedi ejuma ewa ha Eastern Region ha. The whole Ghana ye around obema ikokra any brewe nyina cards. Enti yes ye do masipa se omu yes ejuma no. And then ye benchi ye besa ye say what Ghana mind. Enti abai so ye social democratic government. Mo ya kuma so pa enti yes ye buamo ye support mo.
The move is to make healthcare services easily accessible to the elderly. The elderly were drawn from Amanfrom, Okrakojo, Asinema, Apradi, Akropong, and other communities, accompanied by the Chief Executive Officer of the NHIA, Nathaniel Otu, and the Municipal Chief Executive for Akwapim North, George Opare Ado. Nana Oyelitha reiterated that government places premium on the well-being of the elderly, hence the free NHIS registration. As part of this, the ministry has promised to introduce the Urban Elderly Card for the aged in the Eastern Region.
As the first female chairman of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Statement presented to His Excellency the President by the women groups in Ghana, 6th July 2015. We women of Ghana from different women groups in the Greater Accra region congratulate the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for appointing Mrs. Charlotte Osei as the first ever female chair of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. By these courageous steps, believe in the President's commitment to empowering women in Ghana and ensuring we are appointed in high public places.
The significant step in registering the vulnerable onto the NHIS, the Gender Ministry, in collaboration with the NHIA, has freely registered inmates of the prisons onto the National Health Insurance Scheme. At the launch of the nationwide registration at the Nsawam Medium prisons, the Gender Minister stressed government's commitment to make healthcare quick and accessible to prisoners.
Some registrations are going on in other parts of the country, but we want to reach everybody, and this is our pledge. Finally, I would say that with the NHIS card that you are going to get, it will be possible for you to seek help both within and outside the confines of this prison.